Welcome to the IDP Hunter podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hungarter, the IDP Hunter. Today, we're going to talk about best ball. We're going to talk about all those strategies we have. You're in for a treat tonight, my friends. Generally, when I go on, I play these best ball drafts. I play with some of my friends, some of my closest friends. I have some of the best experts in the community to kind of roll out this new template we got. It's called Fast Draft. It's over on the Fast Draft app, and it's one of the world's biggest, if not the biggest, IDP tournament with cash prizes and whatnot. To my left, I have Mase Riney. What's going on, Mase?
Yo, what's up, Steve? Another day, another dollar.
And to my right, I got Jamie Perog. What's going on, Jamie?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was wondering if maybe you can introduce yourselves to the audience.
Yeah, I'm Jamie Perog. I do some work over at Going for Two. Also over at Fancy Six Pack. I do a Dynasty podcast every Wednesday night, live at 9:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah, I'm Mase. You can find me on Twitter at CaliKing49017. I do rankings, podcasting, interview college players, Scout the Shrine Bowl, you name it, IDP. I'm all about it.
Heck yeah. And like I said, I appreciate you guys doing this with me. It's just a fun encounter. This whole fast draft thing that they got going on now, there's a couple different tournaments, right? Origins I haven't played yet. It's for rookies. You have the Flex 4 and the Flex 6. That's the offensive side. What I kind of wanted to talk about today is the D up. The D up, you got a 20-second draft clock. We're only doing the top 60 players, so only at 6 rounds. 10 teams, 6 rounds. So like I said, it's all about the glory right now. And also, the cool thing about this kind of setup is, we're playing for money, right, guys?
Oh yeah.
We got a promo going on. 100% first time deposits on this app. They're gonna match you your $50. So if you put $50 down, you type in promo code Hunter, you get another $50 back, and that's a game changer. It means you got 10 shots at this tournament to win the prize. Or you can do the player profiler. It's $25 off. You get that all-in package. Just type in, promo code Hunter. You guys have done as many drafts as me right now. Is there any perks that you want to tell the audience?
Yeah, I mean, you can put boosters on different players too. So like once you draft, like if we're going to talk about D up here, I'll go. I'm getting Montez Sweat in 6th round pretty frequently. I mean, I say that I've only done 3 drafts, but I've got him twice in the 6th round. So if he comes up and ends up actually having a big game, which those spike games are something that he does, it'll be kind of difficult to guess which one. But if I can get up to double points for that. It's points or 1.75. And then they have 1.50, 1.25, and the other guys are normal, correct?
Right. And, with the boosters, I don't know if you guys have any strategies on that, but every team, once you draft, you get a set of boosters, what Mase was talking about. These boosters, they multiply by points by each player. So you might get a booster that's 2 times the value, or 1.75 or 1.5 or 1.25. There's many strategies. Mase, I really think that the boosters, whoever wins this tournament, it's going to be the boosters, or it's going to be, having a healthy team at the end. That's probably going to be the key advantage to this thing.
Well, yeah, it's just so top heavy because like we were talking about, there's only 6 spots, right? 10 managers. So that's 60 players. I mean, we rank guys that are a lot deeper than that. So we can sit here and talk all day, but like, it's going to be difficult because you have guys like, I don't know, for the Chiefs, Karlaftis, right? He was like one of the top 10, 15 guys in pressures, ended up having like, I think 10, 12 sacks or something like that. But he's not exactly a guy that is going to be getting drafted in this kind of format unless you're really willing to, throw it out there. Like we'll look at the ADP later, but there's going to be some signs, especially early. It's more like predictive. So people are really, I think, holding close to the chest at this point, the bigger names.
So Jamie, question for you. The money pot on this thing is $10,000, $2,000 for first place. This is the world's largest IDP tournament that I know of. Have you ever played in a tournament that big before?
Not for IDP. No, this is my first IDP tournament.
And like I said, we're shooting at promo Hunter right now, so you got more shots at this thing. You guys have so much experience. I'm gonna stay on Jamie again real quick here. You guys have so much experience with best ball. When you guys are preparing for a massive draft like this one, and I'm going to show the audience at home our draft in a couple seconds here. What are some tips that you would give the audience or people that have never been involved in best ball? What are some tips that you usually commonly do?
Yeah, for best ball, I usually just go high upside players. I don't like playing it safe. I don't want those like 10 to 12 point weeks constantly. I want the guys that can get up to like 20, 25. It's just the way I do it.
Yeah,
Mase, same question to you. I'm kind of curious your rationale too.
Kind of the military army mindset, the way that you set up a tent, you set up those tent poles. I like to get at least one, not big name player, but one guy who I know is going to give me at least, 7 to 10 fairly decent weeks with a low floor. Get that. And then towards the end, taking guys, I don't know, last year, I'll just say this because I was taking Arden Key in a lot of places in best balls, but guys you just kind of swinging for the fence for that could have potential upside that no one else is really thinking about. It's a really messy game, especially if you get locked rosters, man. Really just you're kind of going with your instincts and trying to read the tea leaves, as you say, right, Steve?
Yep. And for our audience that's on Spotify and iHeartRadio, welcome in. We're on YouTube. We're going to pull up a draft that we did. We're just talking some of our basic general strategies that we do. You got to know the draft structure, right, Jamie?
Yep. Another thing what I like to do is stay away from injury-prone guys because what's the best ability? It's availability, right?
Right.
There's that
I like
that here too as well in the draft.
I mean, you got to think you're only getting 60 players to choose from. I mean, the top 60. So if you're one of your guys, I can have 4 better players than you guys, but if I have 2 guys injured, then what good was that, right?
Yeah, no, sure. One thing I love about this fast draft is you don't have to draft a certain position to like set a lineup. Like you don't have to have one cornerback. You don't have to have one linebacker. You could mix it up. It's just like build your team how you see fit.
Yeah, there's also an option where you can like set your own lineup and your own rankings. So if you want to just put money down on a draft and kind of just like let Jesus take the wheel per se, you can just let it draft by your rankings. So you can at least set yourself up in case if you're going on a camping trip or you got something going on with family or whatever. It's really user friendly in that aspect.
Yeah,
I'm glad one of you guys said that. I'm going to give Jamie a shout out. He's the fastest drafter I've seen in my entire life. At the end, it'll tell you he's the fastest drafter. You should have been Clint Eastwood in another life, just shooting rounds. He's getting these drafts off quick. I guess the second tip I'd like to tell the audience, if there was anything, set your draft board ahead of time. You have time to set that thing. I kept constantly jumping. That's my problem, Mase, because me and you both are rankers on Fantasy Pros. I kept trying to jump back and forth, so I'm off the ADP. These other guys are right there waiting to pounce. But, yeah, Jamie, you were so fast in this draft.
Yeah, every single one of my drafts I've done, I've always was the fastest drafter. Usually, I think the fastest was like 1.5 seconds.
Quick call.
But usually I average about like 3 to 4 seconds.
Dude, I had my kids all over me last night. So like in the video that we'll have and we put up, you'll see me try to type in players' names and like misspelling. I'll like add 1 or 2 guys and they'll go really quick. And I'm just like, no. Like I was really taking this approach like a rookie yesterday, honestly. So just forewarning everyone that's watching here on YouTube.
The one thing I really love about Fast Draft is their turbo mode. So like turbo mode, it's a tool in Fast Draft that you could just join tons of drafts at like once and then just have your rankings set. You choose like how many teams you want, and then it just picks the players for you according to your rankings and sets all your teams up automatically.
I like how you said earlier, don't play it safe. You want to get the best guys you possibly can. And maybe that's how we want to build these portfolios. If you get 6 players, maybe have 3 boom players, 3 safe players, maybe have some floor. What do you call it, Mase? Stake the chaos makers. Look for defenders that are aggressive. And, it doesn't hurt to know the schemes, the players.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and if you're joining tons of tournaments, try to diversify. Don't just draft the same players over and over again. That's not going to help you because in tournament styles, that's not how you want to play.
I would say the 2 biggest things that we haven't said yet, I guess the last 2 tips I want to kind of offer before we kick this off. you got to know your scoring, right? Scoring is everything for this. Mase, any comments there? Because I have a couple in my head. I'm just curious what you have to say about scoring.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can sit there and look at your lineup and roster bait essentially all you want, man. But if those guys aren't going to get you points, if it's a PPR and you're drafting for standard league, like you're really setting yourself up for failure. If you're going to go, like, I don't know, if you don't look at the fine print and see that cornerbacks essentially get a tackle boost or something because there's some kind of quirk in your league, then you're only playing yourself by rostering the wrong position. So it would really behoove you beforehand and after even looking at your roster, assessing, to really understand the ins and outs of what you got going on. And honestly, I really do like the scoring format in this.
So that scoring format, before we kick it off, me and Mase did an episode about a year ago, 2 years ago now, just knowing your scoring format. So typically, as a rule of thumb, a tackle-heavy league is like 3 points to the sack versus 1 point to the tackle ratio. So we're looking at sacks to tackles. So if it's 3 or less, it favors the linebacker. It favors the tackle guy. I'd rather take a shot with the tackle guy than the sack guy because those things are fluky and they're volatile. So 3-to-1 ratio is a tackle league. 4-to-1 is a balanced league. Anything over a 5, and some old school guys, they'll say, oh, it's 6 or more. 5 or 1, in my opinion, is sack heavy or higher. So you got to determine. If you're in a tackle heavy league, you go after linebackers hard. If you're in a sack heavy league, you go after those elite defenders hard. It's all based on your strategy, like Mase was saying.
And no matter what, you always fade defensive backs. No, I'm kidding.
Pretty much, unless it's Brian Branch or Kyle Hampton every week, or Durham James, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah. But when we look at the scoring of this thing, we're looking at assisted tackles 0.5, QB hits 1, forced fumbles 3, pass defense 4, sack 6, fumble recoveries 0.1, sack yards 0.1, solo tackles 1, tackles for loss 2, interception 6, safety 6, defensive touchdown 6, reception yards 0.1. What does that mean to me? I don't care about most of that because it's all fluky data. I care about the sacks and the tackles. Tackles, Mase, solo tackles, you're only getting 1. That's it. You're getting 1 here. So this is going to be easy math for us. You heard me say 6 points for the sack. That's not all, Professor. We got to add up this, okay? When you sack the quarterback, you also get the QB hit, which is 1 point. So 6 plus 1 is 7. You're also going to have a tackle for loss. That's 2 more points. 7 plus 2 is 9. Jamie didn't think I can do that. 7 plus 2 is 9.
Quick math, baby.
So you're getting 9 points. That's not all. 0.1 per sack yard. Google it. The average sack loss per play per quarterback is 6.5 yards, right? 6.5 yards, give or take. So add another 0.6. So we're in a hugely friendly sack to tackle ratio, 9 or greater to 1. So this should be an elite defender's dream. Right now, what we're about to go into, this is a sack-friendly league, and that's what I'm looking for. Now, you can look at the data one or two ways. I'm going to get all the elite guys like me. Let me go off the ADP. Let me go off the grid. Or you can just kick back and be like, wait a minute. Why is Roquan Smith just falling to me? That's dumb. Why am I getting Fred Warner in the 9th round? I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, you can do this one or two ways. You can use the data in your favor or against your favor. So that's a big one to me. And you know what else I'm surprised we didn't mention? Positional scarcity. That's a big thing too, huh?
No, for sure. We'll see. There's some runs that really go. Like, you start to see a guy, and then you got to make decisions. Like, there are a lot of teams because it's so early, right? We haven't had the draft yet. But they're still like, we'll talk about later what you're talking about before the show, Steve. The Lions linebacker room, they've got a future and a guy that was passed, but the guy that passed is still holding the mic, essentially. So, like, what are you going to do there? Their ADP's somewhat in the same area. So there's decisions to be made, and we really don't know the whole story at all.
We're going to talk about these first couple rounds in a second here. I just want to talk about position scarcity for 1 second, okay? When we're looking at defensive tackles, primarily those interior guys, right? Out of the top 12 players, only 50% of them repeat from each year, from year to year. So Top 12, you're probably getting 6 guys to repeat, maybe, or less. That's not a really good return rate for me. Out of the top 24, only 11 of them. So it even dips further, 49%. So you won't see me in too many drafts looking at defensive tackles. One position I will invest in is edge, defensive end edge. 4 out of the top 12, 33%. That's 1/3 of the time those guys hit. But look at the bigger picture. 11 out of 24, 49%. Almost half hit every time. And it's the same consistent guys that you're about to see in the first round. That's kind of where I stay, defensive edge. Linebacker, 4 out of 12, just 33%, 1 in 3. 11 out of the top 24, 49%, almost half. So it's the same as kind of edge, except for, I guess that position's more volume is based a little bit. Cornerback, 3 of the top 12 repeats. 7 of the top 24. That's the lowest total of top 24. So you won't see me draft any cornerbacks, to your point. 3 of the top 12 safeties, they'll repeat in here. Out of the top 24, it's only 9. So that just proves, like you said earlier, defensive back is sort of a crapshoot. Now, I won't fault you in the 6th round if you're going to take guys like Kyle Hamilton, whatever, in favor of, I don't know, Isaiah McDuffie or Cody Barton. Because, he's more likely than not going to get an impact play. But it just doesn't seem like a very friendly tournament when it comes to the safeties. You know what I mean? So anyway, without further ado, I just wanted to put some rationale out there. I'm going to kick off the video, and you guys can tell me what you see and think, okay?
For sure.
All right. Hold on a minute. This is Mace's camera job. Great job,
Mace. Sorry, everyone in advance. Started right in the middle, like I said, my kids around me. But yeah, so we're already at the back end of the first round. Trey Hendrickson rounding it out there. Zach Vaughn, though, to clean it up. That's nice.
So the first round, the way that went for us, and it was just the way we talked about the scoring. We had guys like Crosby, Parsons, Hutchinson, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Zaire Franklin, Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter, and then Trey Hendrickson. All of those guys came in the first round, which kind of goes with the point we were making here. Everybody was going after those elite defensive linemen, right? Jamie was smart. Jamie's like, why am I fishing in this pond? Everyone else is getting out. I'm going to go over here and get salmon. He's going up. He's got the number 1 linebacker, and he got him so late in the draft. So kudos to you, So
yeah, I was just zigging when everyone else zags,
So that's typically the way I've seen these drafts go, Mace, the first round anyway. You have any thoughts what you see in that first round?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson's a guy that's been fairly consistent over the past, 4 or 5, or I guess 3 or 4 years. So to see him kind of fall just because of the negotiations, he might be a name that maybe pops up to the middle of the round as time goes on. And then you see players like Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter, just a mixed bag. It depends on who you want. Both those guys are going to get numbers. So it really just depends on that. But you will have some people that essentially, like when you draft this, I don't know, for me, I still feel like I'm like, all right, where's the linebacker at next? I'm like, whoa, cool my jets. Like, I don't need to get a linebacker here. Let me look at the whole board and really figure it out, which kind of goes back to that pre-planning. If you already have a plan, you get punched in the mouth, then you can kind of reassess and go, because it's only 20 seconds you got, man. So it's really live or die there.
That tight end interview we did, Van Dorn, he really left an impact on you because he kept saying that you got to punch people in the mouth sometimes.
Was that what that was? I was like,
hey,
that's awesome, dude.
On your note, I just want to give Jordan Raines a shout out, okay? He put this in our IDP Facebook page yesterday, actually, because, he's in these fast drafts with us too. On my screen, he actually has pulled up the top 10 defensive linemen because as predicted, as we're talking about, these guys are the ones that go early and often. His question was, and it was more like a question to stimulate conversation. So kudos to you, Jordan. Which one of these top 10 guys in IDP, and I'll ask both of you, is most likely to be a bust in 2025? He's had Parsons, Hutchinson, Watt, Garrett, Hendrickson, Crosby, Zaire Franklin, Will Anderson, Nick Bosa, Jared Verse, 9 of those guys went in our top 10. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. But who do you see in this particular – and the ADP can be exploited, right, Mase? But who do you see here being a bust?
I don't know. As far as busts go, it's hard to label as a bust because these guys are all top. I think they'll finish within the top 24, all right? But if anyone had to finish outside of, I don't know, I'll say this top 10 or top 15, I think it would just be Jared Verse. I love Jared Verse. I think he is efficient. Jordan says that as well. I would say maybe Trey Hendrickson, but I don't think he's actually going to hold out. I think they're going to figure something out. I think he'll be on a team. That's just, I don't know. I saw an interview from him. So, like, his nature, he's cool, calm, collected. He's a God-fearing man. He's not out there trying to get the most money, he said. So they'll kind of work something out. Now, maybe Will Anderson can lose some sacks or get some because of Hunter or whatever. But I'm just going to say Verse because he had such an elite season last year. He led the league in pressures. So I don't know if he's going to bring that back again. I mean, there's so many guys. Parsons, Bosa, Hutchinson was out for a while too last year. So
when he posted this, Jamie, I was like, okay, this is pretty smart. We got a conversation going about it. Hendrickson first came to mind to me because I'm like, well, he's probably going to get traded. What if he goes to like some terrible place? But in all honesty, it probably is Verse. Verse got a first-round grade right now, and he only had 4.5 sacks last season. Now, granted, sacks are kind of fluky from time to time. I get you. The pressure is what matter. We're predicting a lot out of Verse, and I like Verse. But to have him here at top 10, that might be something worth gaming and looking at. You already see the first round. People kind of jumped over him a bit. So there you go.
If he's in the second, I'm all about it. If he's in the second, like if he's in the second round, like 11, 12, 13, I'm jumping on that, man, for sure. But like in the middle of the first round, that's kind of where I'm like, I don't know, that's too iffy for me. I can't do that.
Some of us did in the second round. Looks like I got an early pick coming up. So I kind of know what I'm about to do.
There he is.
Jared Verse comes out of the pocket. Then we get, so the second round here, we had Zach Bond, Jared Verse, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner. How's that for some linebackers? Jamie got Franklin, Fred Warner, huh? He's doing it. Van Ginkel, TJ Edwards should be coming up. Come on, TJ Edwards. Who's this guy here taking his time?
Slow draft.
Supposed to be a fast draft. How am I reading fast? No,
it's crazy that Roquan Smith is kind of falling a little bit in a format like this as far as linebackers go. I'm just really used to seeing him ranked as like number one uncontested.
Me too. It's so hard when people know what they're doing. There's TJ.
Right.
Now, see, you'll notice I don't want to tell on myself, but I was willing to bank with a top 60 in play. I was willing to bank later rounds linebackers would fall to me. That was my gamble. I didn't think the elites, based on our numbers, they'd stay. But anyway, the next pick was Brian Burns. And then this guy may or may not time out. Now he got it. Edger and Cooper.
Edge. That's okay. He must be thinking big things from him.
And then I didn't see what he did there. Oh, it was Frankie Lavu. So to recap, Zach Bond, Jared Verse, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, Van Ginkel, TJ Edwards, Brian Burns, Edger and Cooper, Frankie Lavu. That's your second round. Any thoughts there, guy? Picks you like, picks you didn't like. Any thoughts there?
Just one thing I noticed is the third round reversal. I love the third round reversal. So after your second round ends, it shoots back to the end of the draft, and they get the first pick.
I like that too. It's a game changer. Now I like it in big drafts that we play, like the 20-teamers. These ones here, you really got to be on your game to catch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I took a pretty big risk taking Van Ginkel. He had the sack output last year. He's just a really high-end player, and he really puts it all out in the field. So to get him, I feel like it is somewhat risky. But to Jamie's point earlier, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
I love that.
But I don't know. It's kind of crazy just to see so many spotty linebackers. In a way that in a normal IDP draft where you see spotty defensive backs, that's where linebackers have been. It's only 2 rounds so far, but still, it's kind of a mind flip, right?
So, playing with the ADP here, again, I'm smelling like a rose because I already got Daniel Hunter. I came up a little early because I wanted one to top. Then I got Jared Verse, who's a consensus first rounder. So I got 2 free first rounders in my opinion, So you see how I'm building mine. I'm building mine on elite defensive linemen, and I'm hoping the back end I can gobble up some Bob Spillane type of players that'll just kind of just clog some space. That's the way I went. Jamie went the opposite. He's like, okay, my salmon, it's not kicking over here. Let me kick this out and get some catfish. He went for the 2 top best linebackers, which is kind of exciting to see too. Again, there's no wrong way to build these. Out of those players, though, the Zach Bonds, the Verses, the Smiths, the Warners, the Van Geekels, the Edwards, the Burns, the Edrin Coopers, the Lavus, I actually, and this is a good point too, for linebackers that could rush the passer, this is a format where the Frankie Lavus, who had the most rushes against the NFL, Caden Ellis's, guys like that are blitzing linebackers, old school Levante David types, those guys are going to move up in the ADP as we play. We're still playing with this ADP. We're still trying to game it a little bit, Jamie. But, I kind of like those picks. Jamie Mase, let me ask you a quick one. I'll move to round 3. Is there any players in there that you thought was phenomenal value for a second round?
I think Zach Bond, the way they're using him, they're kind of like he's kind of in that role that they thought Nakobe Dean would be in. So I'm really curious to see what they do as far as that. And plus, the guys in front of Bond are really good at clogging the lane and doing their jobs. And his role is just to clean up, man. And that's what he's going to keep doing. So he's quick enough to be in coverage too, so he can make plays there. So I really like the Bond in the second round. That's nuts, I think. If you can't get that elite, or if you got the turn and you can get an elite pass rusher, and you can also get that potential number 1, at least top 5 guy in him, I think that's phenomenal.
Jamie, you got anybody in particular that you want to give a shout out to in that round?
Just my guy. I drafted Fred Warner.
He just wants to play with his own toys. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, dude, that Packers pick was kind of like, whoa, yeah, Edrin Cooper. That kind of took me by surprise.
I wanted to go the road less traveled with you guys. I'm thinking big things this year, not to toot my own rankings, but Edrin Cooper last year, I think Walker's going to cry himself out of a job eventually.
He might.
But when the top linebackers go off the board, look what Walker did around the playoffs. And you guys know when playoff time comes and, when people are kind of cashed out, when your leagues from week 15 to 16 to 17, people aren't paying attention anymore. When these players pop, it's to your benefit. I really think an Edge Cooper type could win this kind of format. During the year, he was struggling for playing time. That's what happens with rookies, But by year 2 coming up, so, okay, let me just read it to you. Week 16, 8 tackles. Week 17, 10 tackles. Week 18, 7 tackles. No one's paying attention to this guy every single week. 70% snaps, 99% snaps, 94% snaps. I really think he's up and coming. I think he's got a hold of that job, and look out for everyone else around him. You know what I mean? So I can see his ADP moving up.
The thing with him is that his snap percentage went up, and it was almost like kind of like a wide receiver as a rookie, like what the Niners did with Deebo Samuel, say, for instance. Those first 7 or 8 weeks, he's really getting his feet wet. He's learning the system. He's trying to understand. And then after the bye week is normally you'll see a veteran quarterback is struggling. It seems like 1-3, or 2-5. Then they'll make the switch to the rookie guy, and then they'll really turn it on and start to get you value and points there. So maybe the same is for Cooper. Maybe he did turn it on at the end, and they can give him the keys, because I know that defensive coach really liked McDuffie, and they did sign him to a contract, but I think it's more of a special teams backup role just because he can kind of fill in anywhere, and they did draft Cooper pretty high.
Yeah, if you look at just the way the modern NFL is, it takes these rookies a little bit to get acclimated, to get situated. So I do think that pick is a sneaky one, especially when the Warners and all the other guys are off the board. Anyway, let me look. I'll kick this back up to you here. I love your tweets as this draft is going on, John.
Dude, I told you it was chaos, dude. I got paper airplanes flying by me. I'm painting my daughter's toes. I got kids screaming.
I love it, man. I love it. But this gives us a good grid because, like I said, I know we're going to do more of these drafts.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. That third round reversal got tricky. Nick Bolton was there.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen went. Alex Highsmith went. Robert Spillane went. Our boy Caden Ellis, we were just
that's me. I love it.
Stealing the picks.
Hey,
Brian Branch. Somebody
TV.
went spicy. Went some Brian Branch there.
Yeah, DB1, that's crazy because Derwin James has kind of been the king of the DB1 along with Winfield, I guess. They've kind of been switching spots over the last year. So,
See, I went off the ADP, and I'll explain my rationale in a second because I don't see this holding. I see people taking popular names now, especially by the time we get to training camp. But you see when you hit Grenard, now we're starting to get to the end of those elite guys. Now we're seeing rookies like Abdul Carter. I don't know, man. Rookies, I don't know. Is that a reach? I don't know. You got Blake Cashman, and then you got Nick Benito to round the third round. Question, I'll read it again. Question for you. For round 3, we got Nick Bolton. We had Josh Allen, hines-allen, Alex Highsmith, Robert Spillane, Caden Ellis, Brian Branch, Greenwood, Abdul Carter, Cashman. There's a lot of players in this round that aren't even in my portfolio. Little bit of risk. Is there anybody in there that you feel a little bit risky about?
The rookie, Abdul Carter. We don't really even know what team he's going to be on. We don't know how he's going to produce. I mean, he looks like Micah Parsons, sure, but I mean, do we know if he's going to exactly play like that immediately? Like even Will Anderson, it took him a little bit to get his feet under him. Trayvon Walker was the first pick. It's taken him a while. He just got his 5th-year option done. He's not really there yet. So I don't really know if he's going to develop. Now, if he gets next to a guy like, I don't know, Garrett, say on the Browns, then I mean, maybe sure he'll get some cleanup stuff there, but I don't know if he's going to get over 10 sacks.
So good point, Mase. When you go to the Fast Draft website, you got to go to the website online. You can see the tournament data if you scroll down. It's going to tell you where all these players sort of are kind of ranked. And I'm going to tell you, out of all the players in this round, Abdul Carter's up there a little bit higher than I want to pay for a rookie. I get it. I get the value, but at 28, when you can have Josh Allen, a Ernest Jones, a Aziz Al-Shair, people like that, I don't think I'm going to have an Abdul Carter share because that's too high, but it is rookie season.
It is, but it's not Dynasty League. You know what I'm saying? So to do that, you're really putting all your eggs because that value right there, like if you can get him in the 6th round is, I don't want to say a dart throw because I don't think he's that kind of player, but in this format, I guess the 6th round kind of is like your wild card, who you think, maybe go off the ADP, whatever. I'd take him there for sure, but to take him in was it the 3rd round or 4th round?
Yeah, this is the 3rd round. Yeah,
that's not for me.
And I get it. Even if you're banking on a great season, sacks are so fluky, So if you're gonna do stuff like that, you better diversify your portfolio. You better have 2 solid linebackers, like Jamie's team with the solid linebackers in the front. Maybe put an Abdul Carter type or a Van Ginkel or a Benito later on to kind of even that out a bit for the weeks that you're not getting, when you're not getting data. I mean, IDP is a total crapshoot. You know what I mean? But Jamie, I know you're a Browns fan. That's probably where he's going. Maybe, maybe not. Thoughts on Abdul Carter?
Oh, man, I love Abdul Carter. I hope he does go to the Browns. So let's say he does go to the Browns. Is that going to lower Myles Garrett for you? Are you still going to be taking him in the top 5, top 6?
I'm going to say yeah, because Myles Garrett's Myles Garrett. To me, there are people that play different. Like when I'm playing these fast draft offense, you just seen me the other day. I won't take Jordan Addison if I got Justin Jefferson. I just won't. I won't hedge my fence. But I don't care in IDP. Guy's going to make a tackle. Guy's going to hit it. It doesn't matter. I don't see them vampiring each other much. Unless they're playing the same inside linebacker position or something. Points are still points to me. I'm going to get them wherever I can. So, yeah, to me, I'm still taking Myles Garrett where I take Myles Garrett regardless, What about you, Mase?
Yeah, I would take Myles Garrett. So you're not going to bump me down on him. The only question I have about Carter is, I guess I have 2. The injury with the foot, I don't really know what's going on with that. Because he's holding off on surgery. So, I mean, he must be okay, I guess, to play. And then also, are they going to use him as an outside linebacker or are they going to use him as a true edge? And if they're going to use him as a hybrid, does that take away value from him getting sacks, which is kind of the king in this format? Because, I mean, he's not going to be getting the interceptions of the yards or the fumbles of the yards like that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just really weird to say because even for a defensive back like Kyle Hamilton, they put him in a multitude of positions. So he didn't really get those like bolstering stats his first year. They're just trying to get him acclimated to the defense. So they might do the same with Carter wherever he goes and put him in multiple places so he can make those calls because he does have that kind of versatility.
You guys have been really, really kind to me this video, and this is where I kind of come alive. Like the first 2 rounds, I just feel like it's like, you're going through the motions, but once you start going 3rd, 4th, 5th, even 6th, you're picking your players, right? I went outside the ADP again. I did that with Josh Allen. Verse fell to me. I did that with Josh Allen. Josh Allen usually goes at the end of the 3rd. I took him early 3rd. To me, Josh hines-allen is right up there with those top 7 defenders, those top tier guys. In my opinion, he's underrated. People forget about him, with the exception of that 2023 season when he had 17 sacks. Hell, even last year, he was a top 10 PFF, 94% expected sacks, which is a greater forecast if you guys ever want to look at that stuff. That's a greater forecast of what the player actually is, regardless of the scheme, what have you. But, yeah, Josh Allen is one of those top-tier sack. Like, you can see my first 3 rounds what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 3, even 4 rounds deep. Let me just keep cashing in. And that's kind of what my strategy was in this draft, or all my drafts, really. I'm going after 2 or 3 elite D linemen. I'm going after 2 solid linebackers, and I might mix it up in the next round.
Yeah, I had Josh Allen at the top of my queue, but you drafted 2 picks before me. So, yeah, I was so mad because I had to pivot. I went with, who did I go with? Spillane. I'm banking on, he gets like 10 tackles a game. He might get you a sack once or twice in the year. So, yeah, I was kind of upset when I saw Josh Allen go forward.
Because like after this, like in my opinion, like 4.1, 4.2, it starts to get a little thin at DL and edge.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was willing to bank that all our top linebackers were there, and they still are. Guys like Bernard are still there. Guys like Henley, you just seen went 4.1. Al Shire, he's still around. There's so many players, and I can go on and on, that there are still here. So I think right now to game this strategy, I think it's top elite defensive linemen and get yourself some nice solid linebackers in your stable. Let's do another round, and then we'll kind of just put the last 2 together. But here's what the 4th brought us. We got Henley. Somebody took Rasu, which I was actually hoping he did better than he did last year. So I don't think I'm going to have many shares of Rasu. I don't know about you guys.
This is, defensive tackle with the 2nd tier of the 2 3rd tier of like edge players right now. So like you're saying, at this point in the draft is probably, at least for me in our strategy, because we went edge early, this is where we're going to be picking up most of our stuff. And I don't know if you just saw that. I just put Sherwood on my list, and then he got taken. Now I'm about to put Wilson. I think he gets taken too. So
Ernest Jones, Sherwood,
that's
and
a great
you see the run. Here's the run. All the Olakun. We're seeing the great. Not the great, but the good and plenty linebackers run here because we're running out top elite. Terrell Bernard, Al Sher, these are all great picks, mind you. Every single one. None of those guys are going to be there when I get there now. Now, Trayvon Walker's pretty sneaky there. At this point in the draft, you got to have a crossroad. You're going to see my player in a second here. Most of my drafts are built the same way. I got 3 elites and I got 2 solid LBs. I mix it up in the 4th round depending on what falls to me, and you just kind of seen that's been the batting order, what I've been seeing. The Henleys, the Rochus, the Ernest Jones, Sherwoods, Foyer, the Bernards, Al Shayer, Trayvon Walker, Dexter Lawrence I took. Now, you just heard me in the beginning of this podcast, Jamie. You just heard me. Stay away from DTs. Oh, they don't stay away. Look what I did. Look what I did here. But you heard what Jamie said in the beginning. You want to diversify the portfolio. You don't want to have the same old players. How many shares of Zach Bond do I possibly need? Dexter Lawrence, not only is he a defensive tackle, he's actually a nose guard. Not too many teams play nose guard anymore. So what the hell am I doing? This pick is going to make or break me. This guy is going to make or break. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I'm putting my 2X booster on him. Either I win or I don't. There's no second place for me, right? Dexter Lawrence is not your typical DL. Last year, this guy had a 90-plus pass rush grade. Actually, he had 85 last season. The last 2 years before that, he had a 90. Okay. So he had 85 plus. He got injured. He got injured, what, week 13? And he was on pace. He already had 9 sacks. So if you're banking on sacks, which you should not do, but if you're gambling like me right now with the 6 shooters out, I took him. He was there. I think he should have went earlier, in my opinion. This is probably going to break my draft, but you know what? I don't care. My 2X booster is going on Lawrence, my friend.
Well, who are his 2 outside edge guys, man?
Huh?
He's got Thibodeau on one side. He's got Burns on the other. So what are you going to do? Run outside or run inside?
And then Singleton was the last player in that round. So again, this is going to be the last one. I kind of, and we'll do the last 2 rounds together. But you got Henley, Rousseau, Ernest Jones, Sherwood, Foise, Olakun, Bernard, Alstreet, Trovenwalker, Dexter Lawrence, and Singleton. This is where the linebackers go unless you have like one of those elite DTs. Any thoughts there, guys?
Yeah, I think we're going to start to see Singleton kind of slide as it goes on because Dre Greenlaw, he is coming off injury, but he got a deal, man, and he's over there, and I think that they're going to put him in charge. So I don't know if they're thinking maybe he's going to be like, I guess like a Fred Warner type where he's going to do a lot, and then Singleton's just going to be cleanup because that's kind of what Singleton does anyways. But he was injured last year, so I'm really curious to see the ADP and if that kind of closes on a gap as we go.
You know what kills me? I have no idea what they're going to do with Drew Sanders now. I think they're talking about putting him on inside. But, yeah, that kills Singleton and Drew Sanders' value to me. So those are players that are definitely I'm putting in my ADP. You know?
Yeah, I just thought Sanders was just going to be an edge from here on out just because of the injury and everything else that's going on with him. I thought they were going to start him out as like an outside linebacker edge and then maybe try to move him inside a little bit. But just unfortunate his story, man. I've been rooting for him. I still am. I hope he gets back to it. But
you know what's cool with these last couple rounds, though? You can see there's players that we took, all of us took, that we know just by our experience they should be higher in the ADP versus there's a lot of players that just went that I think the ADP is a little rich. Like, I'll give you an example. I should have said it earlier in the 3rd round. I don't really like where Nick Bolton's going. I really don't. Nick Bolton, I get it. He's the leader of that defense. It's the Chiefs, yada, yada. But his tackle rate has been going down each and every single season. I get it. You know, hey, he's a young player, whatever. But I think his tackle grade on PFF, don't quote me, I think it's like 55 or 50. It's something in the 50s. Like, so I don't invest early on players that aren't playing well because eventually the team's going to catch up and they're going to get caught. So that's just one of those ADPs that I'm kind of worried about. But, yeah, I think every one of these drafts can start the same way.
I like Bolton kind of where he is. I think I've taken him in the 3rd round a couple times, like maybe in the 4th, but like he gets a good amount of targets. I think he gets like 50 or 60 plus. He's pretty not like horribly active like a Smith or anything, but he gets around 20, 15 pressures a year. So he'll get you a couple, maybe more so like a Spillane, I guess. But he's insanely active, and he had like over 1,100 snaps last year too. So I think it's just kind of that cultivated. Now, if you're going to take him around Fred Warner, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because they have an insane linebacker room there. So maybe they can pull back a little bit.
That's the same argument with Zaire Franklin. Not necessarily the greatest PFF metrics, but he's playing every snap. He's getting all tech. Again, volume is better than any metrics out there. However, if the metrics aren't panning out, these guys may be replaced eventually. So it's like tomato. Yeah. These next 2 rounds, I'm going to kind of read them together. You guys tell me what you think. So we're in the 5.1. You got Jalen Carter. Okay. Then 5.2, you got Jordan Brooks by me. Then 5.3, you got Leonard Williams. Then you got 5.4, you got Alex Anzalone. This gets kind of interesting too. 5.5, Quay Walker shows up outside the ADP. Oh, Cali King.
Yeah, Spice.
5.6, Buckner. See, if I was to do it, I would do it off of Buckner or Lawrence. Okay, look who just came out. Jack Campbell.
Jack, the man.
Mm-hmm.
It's his for the taking, I feel like, in training camp this year, but we also thought that last year, so who knows?
Kyle Hamilton, Nakobe Dean late. That's a good pick.
Yeah,
Latu. Then we got last round. You got Kyler Mack.
Josie.
Oh, the outlaw Josie Jules.
That's awesome. Is that what they call him? I've never heard that.
That's what they used to call him. I don't know.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great name. Mm-hmm.
I got some observations already. I'm going to hold it till the end there. Logan Wilson finally dropped. Now, that's a late pick.
I think I just added him on my list, too.
Did you?
Him, Fourier, and Sherwood.
See, I got some good linebackers in here. I would have probably put Logan Wilson if I had one more round to go because, I loaded my team. Dexter Lawrence is the only spice that I kind of
So I'm trying to get Chop Robinson here, but it says KC. So I was like, whoa, I don't want him. So then I'm like, wait, is that even the right guy? I was kind of tripped out. I was like, oh, my God, he's not there. But he hadn't been drafted yet, so that's kind of what I was doing here. So I don't know. Maybe we need to talk to the guys about that and if that's actually him or not. So Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat coming up, Bobby Okereke. You brought up a good point to me with the Abdul Carter thing. College production doesn't always translate to the NFL. When you look at TJ Watt, he had the metrics, but he wasn't a sack-producing phenom back in the day. He wasn't when he was in college. Same thing with Max Crosby. He was a walk-on in college, late-round pick. Even his TJ Watt's brother, JJ Watt, he didn't start booming and people didn't start knowing about until about the combine, And on that note, too, Chop Robinson wasn't a production guy. He had the ability, but he wasn't a production guy in terms of the NFL. So the same thing is true. We don't know what we're going to get with Abdul Carter yet. So I don't want to make a top 30. I don't want to make a top 30 pick or top 28 pick in my first couple of rounds, So anyway, so that was our draft. Any thoughts there? I got one. I'll start you guys off. I got one for you real quick. Did you guys see where Anzalone went and Jack Campbell? Pretty close together, huh?
Like 2 or 3 guys between them, yeah.
Somebody's wrong there. It's going to be one or the other.
I think I'm wrong on that one when I took Anzalone because I as soon as I did it, I kind of felt regret. I think I should probably went like DeForest Buckner. So earlier, Steve, you said you don't draft DTs, right? But you drafted one.
Right.
I said I stay away from these injury type guys. And I always shoot for like high upside. I mean, that's not Anzalone. Like he got injured last year. He doesn't get you more than like 5-6 tackles a game, if I'm correct. So I should have went Buckner because he's getting that 5-6 tackles, but he's got the sack upside.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying like your draft in general. I was just saying like the ADP. Like right now, Alex Anzalone, he is number 46 on the Fast Draft board, right? Jack Campbell's 45, right? One of those isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? One of those has to be wrong. So that was the point I was trying to make. Like,
I'm banking on it's going to be Anzalone just because I took him. I
mean, honestly, how many years do I got to keep hearing that it's Jack Campbell? It's Jack Campbell. Anzalone's he's been the guy. So, I mean, I'd rather, what's the expression? One in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. But I'm just saying, when you look at this ADP, this thing could be exploited because one of them is right. One of those is going to be wrong. I mean, there's no way they're both. One's going to be 100% down player. The other one's going to be 85%. That's just how that team's weird. They don't care. They don't care about our draft capital, do they? They're like, screw it. We're going to take a running back in the first round. You know what I mean? They don't care what a linebacker in the first round with Gibbs and Campbell. They're going to take whatever they want there. I was just saying that just kind of sticks out to me.
In your defense, though, Jamie, Anzalone, he got hurt for like 6 or 7 weeks, right? He came back. He put up like 70 snaps and he had 2 QB hits and like 5 or 6 tackles. And the next game, he goes over 10 tackles in the divisional round. So, like, he could still very well be the guy. We talk about rookies that take that step. He came back from injury, took the step, and was still the man. So it's really going to be Campbell's job to prove it. So if you're just going on what has happened before, you still have a guy in contract. He knows exactly what, Campbell knows exactly what he's going to get out of him. So it's just, I don't know. It's up to the head coach at that point.
Yeah, in your defense, you did great. I'm not knocking. I'm just knocking the way the ADP is. You can kind of game it right now. Here's another one. Quincy Williams, 18. Really? Are we going to go down that road, guys? Quincy Williams with Sherwood there. Quincy Williams last year me just read some of his highlights. Week 13, 7 tackles, 14, 2 tackles, 15, 4 tackles, 16, 4 tackles. Okay, he finished the year with 10 and 9, but still, do I want to take that chance at 18? Probably not. I'd probably take a Greener or Burns that's in that same kind of spot. So we need to do a whole nother podcast on how to kind of game the ADP, but you see the rationale for 6 rounds. Some stuff is a little bit overinflated. Some stuff, whether it's rookie season or the off season in general, other stuff is really good. I guess I should talk about my last 2 picks while I'm at it. I took Jordan Brooks in the 4th. If you check his total tackles the last 4 years, 143 total tackles last year, 111 the year before, 163 the year before that, 184 before that, the last 4 seasons. What does that say? Healthy and makes plays. I got that guy all the way in the 4th round. And then you know who I got my last pick? Bobby Wagner.
You actually got him in the 5th round, not 4th.
I'm sorry. You're right. I got my rounds confused. I'm sorry. But, 5th and 6th round, excuse me. Bobby Wagner, 132 tackles, 183, 140, 170. That's a good way to build, the solids at the end of your draft. I doubt those guys will be there. They'll probably get pushed up while one of the Anzalone Campbell's probably preseason get pushed down. But yeah, there's some stuff in here that I would exploit, and there's some stuff that I wouldn't. But those are my thoughts on this draft. It was really a fun experience, especially doing it with you guys. I thought this was amazing.
Yeah, we definitely need to get more in, man. And then we can also do an ADP cross-section episode with another draft. And there's just a lot of opportunities. It's a newer app, and we're just trying to get it out there so we can get more people on, get some more ADP, and really figure out what people are thinking. It's still really early in the season, so stuff's going to be changing. So we'll be sure to put out a lot of content and keep you guys informed. Just keep rocking with us.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, we got a promo for the site here. If you're going to do Fast Draft, 100% first-time deposits, put $50 in, you get $50 back. Type in promo code Hunter. Gives you 10 shots of this thing. Or if you want to go over to Player Profiler, they're doing $25 off the all-in package. Just type in promo code Hunter. So we got good stuff here for you guys. Jamie, any thoughts on what you've seen in this draft? Anything that you kind of wish you would have known before going in there? I know for me, the set and the lineups was a big thing, but is there any thoughts there?
I just noticed there's only 3 DBs that went. Maybe that was 3 too many. Who knows? We'll see. I went Derwin James with my very, very last pick. So it's not spending a lot of capital on him, but he's good for, he had a 2-sack game last year, right? With 10 tackles or something. So that 1 week, like I said earlier, that's going to rack up a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So like I said, I want to do a couple more videos with this. Maybe we'll exploit ADP. Maybe we'll do an offensive one in the future. But yeah, I don't have anything else. Do you want to tell the audience what you two have been working on?
I just been over at Fantasy Six Pack, working on the Dynasty, my rankings, and best time of the year for Dynasty because we got the NFL draft coming up. So if you want to check that out at Fantasy Six Pack every Wednesday night at 9:30.
Mase is doing some interesting stuff too. You got the rookie prospect interviews you've been doing, right?
Yeah, man, they are hot and heavy. It's draft season, and I've got a lot of interviews lined up. No, seriously, feeling blessed about it. I've got to meet a lot of people. Steve, you've done a couple of them with me. We've met some amazing individuals. Aiden Huntington, Mitchell Van Voren, Dorian Davis, man, still talking to him. He's got some stuff lined up too. Bo Spearman, great graphics too that we've done. It's just been all around good experience.
Hey, I seen Dorian on Fantasy and Frames the other day. He's making rounds.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. And Marcel, I got an interview with a guy named Marcel. He's in a Canadian Football League now, Junior League too. So we're really hitting football on all levels, man, and just what the prospect is really thinking and putting themselves into whenever they put themselves out there for people to look at and try to get to the next level.
Jamie, Mase has been doing such a good job. Like the agents are talking to him now. Like, hey, can we get this interview in? You were getting some kind tweets, and I just wanted to share that love to like the audience. People are like messaging Mase, like, thank you so much for putting, small schools on a map. And that's what it's about. We have this late round draft heroes series. I do the thumbnail like they're superheroes. And what do you have? 3 or 4 more coming up?
Yeah, 4 or 5 actually. We just finished Marcel Williams, like I said, out of Carroll, and we got a couple more lined up. I don't want to give it all away, but they're in the calendar, they're lined up. So just trying to get some stuff out to the people, some content, because a lot of these guys, man, the UDFAs, me and you, Steve, you too, probably Jamie, we're junkies when it comes to this stuff, man. So to kind of talk to these guys, get their mindset, and see them get picked up, that just adds more intensity and more fun to the draft, in my opinion, and it expands our knowledge and the viewers and listeners as well.
And it's so neat, and they're so humble, you know what I mean? And,
great,
you know, future NFL players in the works. You can't beat that, you know?
For sure.
That's all I got for this podcast. Like I said, I just want to do a quick walk through what we were thinking, you know, get people ready for not just this tournament, but best ball in general. And I think we did that. People know about the promo. People know where to find us. I'll put a tweet in the middle of the night, hey, come play with me, come over here, whatever. But this isn't the only tournament going on. We have the Flex, which me and Jamie did the other day. We'll probably do another pod on that later. We got the rookie one. But the D-Up's kind of interesting because this is the only one that I know of that people are actually out there competing in. And I think this is the only video on YouTube. Don't quote me, but I think this is the only one right now that's kind of giving you a blueprint, that's kind of giving you a tool on how to exploit it. And we're going to continue this series. The more we grind on this, the more the ADP kind of changes. But I thought this was neat. So thanks for coming out with me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.
Water, everyone.
Okay. So that's it. You can find me over at the RPO Network. You can find me on this YouTube channel, and you can also find me on the Fancy Six Pack. We have award-winning rankings. We're in the middle of a draft guide, me and Jamie over there. We have over 300 players. Guess what? Over 200 of them are IDP. Nobody has 200 IDP players ranked, but Jamie does. Okay? Check out the Fancy Six Pack Draft Guide. I want to say it's free. Don't quote me on that. It's not 100 firewall to the draft. So I'm going to check it out for free. If not, give Joe a shout out over there, okay? But I got nothing else for you guys. We'll see you next time. Talk hard, everybody.
And D up.
D up and talk hard.